got her gavel in her hands.
You got some cards?
I've got one.
That's it?
No, there should be some.
We got several editions of incoming commissioners today.
We do.
That's gotta be a
We got Lazarus.
Actually, I'm coming as well.
It should be like, you got a bunch of stuff that you
Thank you.
ready?
Is Jim still here? Yep.
Go ahead and call it.
I am. Hold on. I can see if we can get some water. And I'm waiting on these to come in.
All right, so what do you want to do first? We're going to do it?
Move up ordinance number 5936 and resolution number 97.
Thank you. Let me do number 97. Let me do number 97.
Okay.
Substitute.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We will now call this Caddo Parish regular meeting to order. At this time, we will ask you to silence your cell phones, and we'll have our roll call by Commission Clerk, Mr. Todd Hopkins.
Dominic.
Present.
Lyndon Johnson. Jackson. Lynn. Bowman. Cawthorn.
Present.
Gage Watts.
Present.
Middleton. Atkins. Chavez. Smith. Lewis Johnson.
Present.
We have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we'll have our invocation by Commissioner Jim Smith, and we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Mike Middleton. Please stand.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking your blessing and your guidance. Father, we ask that everything we do would bring honor and glory to your name. Father, help us to do the wise things that you would have us to do. But most of all, Father, let us give you the grace and the honor that you've done for us in everything we do. And I pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Everyone, please face the flag of the United States of America. Non-veterans, render a heart salute. Veterans, a brow salute. Recite with me the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith and Middleton. I would like to recognize a few commissioners that are in the audience. We have Commission-elect Ed Lazarus, John Paul Young, and Jim Teleferro. Welcome. At this time, we'll have, do we have any agenda additions?
No, ma'am,
Yes,
we do
yeah,
not.
we do.
Yes.
Is legal over there? Donna's supposed to have one for me today.
Here she is.
The lady of the hour.
Do you have my agenda addition, Ms. Fraser?
No.
On the resolution on the North Shreveport Industrial Park?
Let me talk to you.
Okay. That's I guess we don't.
Okay. Do I need to recess or? Okay. The chair moves for a 5-minute recess. 1 second, please. Is there any opposition? Second?
Second. So.
Thank you.
Sorry, guys, we got all the momentum going.
By Commissioner Mike Middleton. That passes by acclamation.
We don't have a quorum at this time now.
Who's missing?
Commissioner Cawthorn stepped out.
So the Commissioner Johnson is not, here they are. Okay. Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson, you're on the board.
Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to add to the agenda a resolution that waives the right to first refusal on the North Shreveport Industrial Park, lot number 1, unit number 2. It's part of the ordinance 5940. If I could get a second, then I kind of explain
Okay,
it.
that was moved by Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson, and that was seconded by Commissioner Doug Dominic. Commissioner Johnson, would you like to speak on your motion?
Yes, talking to the real estate agent and the company that's wanting to purchase this. They want to purchase this before the end of the year. And with the ordinance in the first reading, we won't vote on it until January. So if we do a resolution that shows good faith that we will refuse the first right to actually buy this piece of property, which we don't want, and we would rather have that company get it, and then that will create jobs to boost our economy.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. And that resolution number was? Number 99. Thank you, sir. Okay, at this time, is there anyone here to speak in favor of adding resolution number 99 to the agenda? Is there anyone here to speak against it? Thank you, Mr. Settle. I declare this public hearing on adding resolution number 99 to the agenda closed.
Actually, it's to expand the agenda at this point, and we'll have to vote and add it under new business.
Got it. The record has it. At this time, please vote. Okay, that passes 7-0. Now,
This adds it to under resolutions, excuse me.
okay. At this time, please vote to add it to the agenda.
Sorry.
Okay, got it now. Thank you. Had to beat on it.
And that passes 8-0. Okay. Do we have any other agenda additions? Yeah. Right. I have none. Next item.
Next, we move to citizen comments.
Okay, citizens who wish to address the commission on any issue other than zoning, please fill out a comment card located in the chamber foyer and return to the president or the clerk of the commission. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes. Okay, I have several here for the UDC. If you would like to speak as a group or individually, if you would stand at this time. Okay. Do all 5 of you want to speak? I see 6. It's another one behind you. Or do you want to split your time and have 7? Okay, so you'll have less than 3 minutes? Yes, ma'am. Okay, all right, thank you. I'll call your names individually. The first card I have is Jessica Tullis. Tullis? Okay. Jake Brown? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Welcome, Mr. Brown.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You have 3 minutes.
My name is Jake Brown. I live at 1243 Pine Island Road. I'm in District 1, Dominic. And I'm a third-generation Caddo Parish resident. I had moved away from the area after high school and college to California and missed the Caddo lifestyle I'd come to accustom to, so I moved back in 2008. America's founders understood clearly that private property is the foundation not only of prosperity but of freedom itself. The Constitution protects property rights through the 14th Amendment Due Process Clause and more directly through the 5th Amendment Taking Clause. There are 2 ways the government can take property: outright by condemning the property and taking the title, and through regulations that take use, leaving the title with the owner, and that's so-called regulatory takings. The Caddo Commission in 2017 voted to take my property rights through regulatory takings when they approved the United Development Code. My property was zoned RA and now has been reduced to R112 due to me owning less than an acre, which now doesn't allow me to have any livestock besides 8 hens, and there's numerous other ordinances that appear to be a money grab through permits and fines for the city of Shreveport. Currently, by my understanding, the MPC Board of Directors are appointed by the Caddo Parish Commission and the City Council of Shreveport. Shreveport does nothing for the 5-mile buffer zone. I have no water, no sewer, no trash, no police. We don't get to vote for the mayor or for city council, and we are not properly represented by the MPC Board of Directors due to them drafting the UDC, which doesn't take into account our rural lifestyle. Commissioner Lyndon Johnson was at our first grassroots rural Caddo Commission meeting, which I appreciated. He showed up for his constituents. I understand that we do need some type of development code, but we need our own code that reflects our rural lifestyle. We have over 31 pages of issues with the current Unified Development Code, which I know we won't have time to go over all of them, but we are here are a few of the areas of concerns. Article 1.4, transition rules. There's a lot of illegal structures out there, and now all those structures, since they weren't properly permitted, are going to have to be brought up to code. And the way that the code's written, it's going to be very difficult and very expensive for the residents of Caddo Parish. Article 3.1, the zoning districts. Numerous landowners have been changed from RA to RE, R112, R17, etc., without proper notification. Since we are rezoned now, we aren't allowed to do things with agricultural that we used to be able to do. Article 6.1, dwellings and accessory dwelling units. No more than one accessory dwelling unit is allowed per lot. There's height restrictions. There's gross floor area restrictions. And it can only be located in the rear yard. Manufactured dwellings. There's design standards now for those. There's front entry. There's roof type designs. There's skirting. Needs a concrete slab or a
Mr.
runway.
Brown, your
and there's
time has
facades.
expired.
Move to extend.
Okay, I just want to remind everyone, if we move to extend, they still only have a cumulative total of 15 minutes. So if we continue to move to extend, okay? All
He's
right.
on a roll.
Is there any opposition? It passes by acclamation.
Article, temporary outdoor storage container restrictions. You can't have a container in your yard to store stuff. There's people on North Market where I live that actually have a container in the front yard. They're on big tracts of land. It makes an easy option for them to store things to keep them out of the elements for their farm animals and for other things. Exterior lighting, Article 7.2. There's all these rules on people that own over an acre or even an acre with the way that the lights need to be. Article 7.3, accessory structures and uses. There's height restrictions, impervious surfaces, and building coverage requirements. There's yard coverage limitations. There's also limitations on the amount of accessory structures you can have and on the footprint. Carports must be located over a driveway. The carport is permitted only in the interior side yard, corner side yard, or rear yard. The length of the carport is limited to 20 feet. Height limited to 10 feet. The carport must be entirely open on at least 2 sides, except for the necessary supporting columns and customary architectural features. For chicken coops, they can only be located in the rear yard only. You have a maximum of 8 hens. You can't have a rooster. You have to have 5 square feet per hen in the coop. It's got to be on an impermeable surface, and you can't slaughter chickens anymore. Cold frame structures, 3 feet in height permitted only in the interior, corner and rear yards. Over 3 feet, only in the rear yard, and there's a maximum square footage requirement. Fences and walls require a permit to build and repair. There's maximum height restrictions. There's barbed wire fence height requirements. There's also design requirements. Garages, there's a maximum of 22 feet setback from the front building line. Only one attached garage is allowed. There's no kitchen or sleeping area above the garage unless a special use permit is granted. They're permitted only in the rear, interior, and corner. Home-based businesses, there's sign restrictions for that. It must be conducted completely within the principal building. There's no selling of commodities which require delivery of merchandise. There's no alterations to the residence that would alter the residential character. No more than 4 clients, patients, etc. at any given time. It's appointment only. The barber is limited to 1 operator with 1 assistant, 1 styling chair, 1 shampoo pole. Repair and service vehicles or other heavy machinery is prohibited. Storage of tractor trailers, semi-trucks, or heavy equipment prohibited. Livestock, horses with the Caddo Parish Animal and Mosquito Control have to be registered. There's a minimum lot size, 1 acre. Livestock enclosures, including repair of existing enclosures, require a building permit. Livestock enclosures prohibited in the front or corner side yard. Square footage calculations for the maximum number of livestock on a lot, and also an additional amount of square footage dedicated to the open space for the livestock. Article 8.5, surfacing. In the RA district, gravel is allowed, but a paved driveway apron, a minimum of 10 feet from the right-of-way line, is required of a durable all-weather material such as concrete or asphalt. You have to smooth out the uneven slabs, resurface to provide a smooth surface. Everybody else must have durable, all-weather materials, such as concrete or asphalt.
Mr. Brown, your time has expired again.
Okay.
She's gonna pick up, I guess, where he stopped. Is that what you all decided? Yeah. Or you just want him to be your representative?
No, we just want him to be, yes,
You can
we just want
go
him to
ahead and
be-
continue.
Okay, surfacing in RA district, we did all that. Everybody else has to have durable all-weather materials such as concrete or asphalt. Upon approval by the parish public work departments, possibly use pervious paving. And a single family can also do concrete wheel strips. Article 8.8, driveway design. It's a maximum width of 12 feet. Driveway apron measured from garage walls to extend 25 feet before tapering at an angle of 45 degrees. Storage of commercial vehicles not allowed in residential districts for semi-truck commercial, trailers, buses, tow trucks, etc. 8.10, storage of recreational vehicles. No recreational vehicle or trailer licensed to transport recreational vehicles or equipment may be stored in a residential driveway within the front or corner side yard for more than 3 days. Recreational vehicles stored need to be fully enclosed in a structure or within the interior side yard behind the front building line or rear yard. And it can't be used for living. So pretty much what's going to happen is the MPC is appointing people right now to give tickets. And there's a lot of us here that are breaking a lot of these rules. And this came about, and I know it got passed, and I know I spoke with Mr. Johnson, and I know we need some type of code. But we just need a different code than what the city has. We need our own code. We're rural, we do things differently. We want to work with you guys, but we need your help. Y'all are the only ones that can fix this. I mean, I went to the MPC yesterday, and Ronnie was real nice and led me to you guys, and he said, this is the way I've got to go. Got to talk to my commissioners, all of you, and have you help us to fix these things, because they're going to start writing tickets. And it started with the recreational vehicles. It's going to end when I put up a fence, and it's not legal. It's going to be bad, and people are going to move. And I came back here. I love Shreveport, and I want it to do good. But, like, we need our freedom. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, the next court I have is John Paul Young.
Are they all done talking about the UDC? No, I would like to say something. Talk about the UDC, it's the same topic.
I put them all in one group. What's your name, sir?
Tom Doza.
Okay. Welcome, Mr. Dozat.
Hey, how y'all doing?
We have a clock up
Working.
there if you're trying to paddle.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this working?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, sir.
We good.
All right, no problem.
It'll project for you.
All right, my only comment, and I assume others will agree, we're working right now and not here to voice their opinions. Get off in the middle of the day at 3 o'clock, like I did, again, to voice their opinions and read newspapers. Supposedly it sounds like a sneaky thing that was done and put in newspapers in 2017. Supposedly this passed, and this is, I agree with my colleague, Jake Brown. The right way to go about this, especially, we don't have sewer out there. We don't we're on water that's not supplied by the city or have wells drilled in our yard. No, we maintain all that. We don't have garbage pickup, and y'all trying to force rules and regulation on us, and we don't benefit from any of these besides the asphalt road that runs in the front of our road. So I'm just gonna move out. I'm just gonna keep it simple. Keep it simple. I live by the KISS method. Me and as well as others who live out there, we're just gonna move, and we're just gonna keep moving out, and then the problem solved, and then city can expand its ways and get the 5-point-something miles around the city. That's all it's gonna come down to, guys. So we need to have I agree with him. We can work with you to come up with a commission, a planning commission for Caddo Parish outside the city limits. But I'm just gonna keep it simple. We're just gonna move out, and then you can find your taxpayer dollars and everything. Or give us the sewer, give us the everything, and then enforce the laws. But and need to let the people to vote, the people that are not here that are working. You need to let the people, the citizens outside the city limits, vote on this and have their voice heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Will this be our last 3 minutes on this subject?
It will? Okay.
Anybody else want to talk
Michelle,
before I do?
Todd? Yes.
Okay.
That'll be the last 3 minutes. May I have your name?
Jane Tappy.
Jane Tappy. Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Tappy.
To kind of reiterate what Jake said and the other gentleman, I am a realtor, and these are facts. When someone comes to me and they say to me, I don't want to live in the city limits because, and they just say simple things, we have an RV, we have dogs, we'd like to have a couple goats, whatever. I, as a realtor, can only supply them information that I have. And I never knew in a million years that I could sell somebody a property that they bought so they could park their RV on it, and now they're gonna come back to me and say, that was the only thing, Jane, we told you we needed. We just needed to park our RV. You failed us. I'm not gonna fail people on purpose. This is serious, y'all. As Jake said, we are out of the city limits on purpose. Do we want to lose people? Do we want realtors to have to say, sorry, you're going to have to move to Vivian to get out of the reach of the city? I mean, let's get real. This is serious. I know this is major, and we want to work together, but please, please take us serious in what we're trying to accomplish, and we will do anything and everything we can to make it better for us, but also on the workload on y'all and everybody else. Please work with us to accomplish these goals for the citizens of the parish, not the city, because we don't have the same rights as everybody in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. And we hope that you all will stick around, because I'm sure there are going to be some comments during communiques. We can't have back and forward dialogue at this time, but I'm sure some commissioners up here, including myself, would like to recognize you and thank you for coming down to express your concerns. The next card, Mr. John Paul Young.
Hi, thank you for listening. First, I want to say, I agree with the speakers who just spoke. I have a farm, a family farm, right outside the city limits, and we also don't want to follow all the rules that people follow in the city, and there should be a special code for that area, preventing things that annoy the city, but not preventing things that please the country. But the thing I asked to speak about was the Confederate monument removal. The thing that I wanted to say was just that there is an option that could be considered by this commission, and I hope that y'all will sort it out all before January 13th, but I don't know. What other jurisdictions have done with their Confederate monuments when the populace decided that they didn't want them to be in place anymore is to examine the monuments and see that they have two parts. There is usually a large stone base, which is extremely heavy and breakable and expensive to move, and then there is statuary, which is much smaller, lighter, and has the informational content of the monument. If we follow the example of other jurisdictions, we will merely remove the sculptural components of the monument to a suitable location, whether it's the Norton or the Louisiana State Exhibit Museum or any other place where they can serve an educational purpose and be viewed voluntarily by people instead of compulsorily when you enter the Hall of Justice. And that should bring down the cost of the removal of the monumental portions of the monument dramatically, maybe by as much as 90%. So what I would like for everyone to consider in relation to this particular monument is taking there's 4 busts and 2 full-size statues to a suitable location instead of trying to move the biggest, heaviest parts of the monument, which are mammoth, and then replace them with something attractive like a vase or whatever would be appropriate for a location where nobody should be offended. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Marty Adams? You were there, okay. I see zoning on yours. William Hartman?
Yes, my name is William Hartman. I live in Shreveport. Matthew Lynn is my representative on the commission. And first of all, I want to thank you all for the efforts you made towards removing the Confederate monument. As someone who lived out of the state for a long time, and I came back and I saw that, and I was like, I don't think that should be here. And I'm in the time that I've been back, I really appreciate your efforts on taking those steps. And so, in some ways, to follow up what Mr. Young was saying, since the deadline is passed, I would like to encourage you to take at least some action towards, if not removing it, let's hide it. Mr. Young said, okay, you could take the step and remove portions of it, but the problem that you're facing, besides additional court filings, is the cost of removing it, and then where does it go? So I just want to propose that you take immediate action and cloak the monument. Wrap it for its own protection, for one thing, and then also we don't have to look at it anymore. And it seems to me that it's your right at this point, since the court has proven that you can do as you need to or wish to with the monument. So I would just like to say, let's wrap it. It doesn't have to be like a Christo art installation in bright pink, whatever. Just get a big tarp and wrap it securely, and then it will be safe, and people going in and out of the courthouse don't have to look at it anymore. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no other cards at this time. I would like to make a motion to move up ordinance number 5936 to next on the agenda.
Second.
Okay,
Substitute motion?
okay. We have a motion by the chair and second by Commissioner Mike Middleton and Commissioner Middleton.
Yeah, I'd like to also move to suspend the rules to allow earlier discussion of resolution number 97 regarding approving Inferno's ITEP participation.
Okay, would you like to put those both in the same motion? I'll accept. Okay.
And then
Please.
Do we need a second on his motion, or do we get it?
I'll second it.
Okay, we can just vote for them together. I was just gonna amend it.
Sure.
Okay.
We voting now, Madam President?
Yes.
Yes, sir, please vote. Voting on moving up ordinance number 5936 and resolution number 97. 5936 is on the bond and number 97 is Inferno.
$59.37 is the traffic.
I said 5936 and resolution number 97. Okay.
Mr. Jackson, you vote.
You going to approve it?
Yes.
No, just to move it up.
Okay. Thank you, and that passes 9-0. At this time, if there is anyone here to speak in favor of ordinance number 5936. You are?
You want to speak on it?
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Always good to have good news. Grant Schluter with Foley Udell Bond Counsel, and our co-bond counsel, Alex Washington, was here until a couple of minutes ago. He got called away to another meeting. So I'll speak for both of us. First thing is the agenda item is the final adoption of the ordinance with respect to the new money bonds for capital improvements. It went out originally as $10 million with a desire to have $10 million in construction funds. The underwriters did a good job pricing the bonds this week, and accordingly the issue size will be $9,180,000, but it will produce with the premium bid on the issue the full $10 million for the construction fund. The interest rate, the true interest costs, the TIC, 2.6%. In accordance with your prior authorization, a bond purchase agreement was executed this week after the underwriters priced the bonds and after your financial advisor recommended acceptance of the proposal. And that was executed, and now the ordinance before you sets forth all the terms of the bonds in accordance with that sale. It's a good rate, and obviously, as you know, you maintained your AAA bond rating, and we're all happy to hear that. And again, that continues to be the only true credit rating for a political subdivision in Louisiana, including the state, at that level. It's the highest level, and no one else has attained that. And as far as we know, in accordance with our research and checking with state officials, no one has ever attained that in the history of Louisiana. So very, very good. I recommend you read the rating report. It's just absolutely excellent. It talks about the trend in very strong finances for the commission. Good work to the finance department and the administration. They take a lot of time working with Standard & Poor's on these ratings. They mention the low debt burden to the taxpayers. And also, I found it very interesting. I had not seen this before, but there's a little section that's devoted to your AAA rating and why that rating is higher than the sovereign debt rating. And that simply means your rating is higher than that of the United States of America, and that they consider the likelihood of repayment of your debt is greater than the sovereign. So again, it's a great report. If you have not had a chance to read it yet, I'd suggest you do it, but we're all very proud, as you should be, that you've maintained this rating. And again, as I've mentioned previously, attaining it was very important, and also maintaining it, particularly when you've had some downturns on occasion, Haynesville Shale, some other factors. You've maintained that strong AAA rating. But that's why on any given day, you get a lower interest rate on your bonds than you otherwise would get on that date, and that saves taxpayer monies. Any questions? Be happy to answer.
They may have some later. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak against ordinance number 5936? There's no, I see none. I declare this public hearing on ordinance number 5936 closed.
Next we move to ordinance number 5937.
No, we're
No.
moving to
I
resolution.
move to adopt
number 97.
ordinance number.
We're going in and out of public hearings.
We
That
made
was
a
the motion.
point, we made a motion.
To suspend the rules.
She suspended the rules to move it up. We haven't even got to that point yet. This is right after citizen comment.
Yes.
The president made a motion to move this up, to take that item up, and also resolution number 97 concerning Inferno. So we're kind of, you were in the back when that got moved up.
I make a motion that we englobo and adopt ordinance number 5936 and resolution number 97.
Second.
can do that.
That's what we would have to do right now.
That's right.
Okay. And that was moved by Commissioner Stephen Jackson, and that was second by Commissioner Mike Middleton. Okay?
Sorry, Todd, I know it's gonna come.
Commissioner Jackson, you want to speak?
No, I'm good.
Okay, please vote. Okay, and that passes 9-0.
Make a motion that we move back into regular order.
Second.
Second.
It's moved by Commissioner Jackson, second by the chair. Mr. Clerk.
Okay, so now, we have no visitors, we have no special resolutions. We need to adopt the regular session minutes from November.
Moved by the
24th.
chair.
So,
And that was
Second.
second by Commissioner
So,
Lynn Carthorne. Please vote.
President.
I'm sorry, you on the
think
board?
anybody gonna tell Mr. Inferno what
Organic.
just happened, cause.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to him.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Mr. Inferno?
Finished, Alan.
He might be
It was
enjoying-
approved.
He might be enjoying this.
Nah, he was sitting there like.
I'm
He
sure
might
he
just
wants to
wanna
sit there
enjoy
and
the meeting.
All right.
He wants to watch democracy.
Thank y'all for that too, by the way.
Welcome. Whenever it comes up, we can vote.
Don't leave, Scott.
That's called a rocket.
Don't
Right.
leave. Don't leave.
Please vote.
Sorry, Madam President, what are we voting on?
Ratifying the minutes.
Adopting the minutes.
Thank you.
Wait, just, is that 536 we're doing?
No. We've already done that.
5936.
We need to do it as amended.
59, 36, and
5936
97.
has been amended from the original.
What was your motion?
It wasn't
Did you-
amended, we just moved it up.
I didn't make a mem, I just did global.
In global 59, 36, and 97. We lost them.
The amended, the resolution that is on the agenda is an amendment to the prior resolution that was passed in
Right.
2016.
So
It
it's in its
itself
original
has
form.
not been amended.
He's talking about the ordinance.
The
I think.
ordinance we just voted on, correct?
Right.
amended.
Right, it wasn't amended.
It was amended when Mr. Schiller
You're
sent us.
saying the amount needs to be
The
amended?
amount needs to be amended to reflect.
Oh, the
What
nine-
the title
We
is.
have $10 million. It actually was
We
9
Make a motion to
million.
reconsider them.
Can I make that motion in?
We need to make a motion to reconsider them.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to reconsider ordinance number 5936 to adopt it as amended to reflect the true and correct amount of the issuance of that bond.
Second.
Okay, that was moved by Commissioner Doug Dominic, and that was second by Commissioner Stephen Jackson. Okay. Please vote. And that passes 9-0.
So now we need to adopt it.
Mr. Clerk,
So do we need
I
to
make
adopt
the
it?
chair
You made the
moves
amendment,
to-
now we need to adopt as
the
amended.
chair
How about
moves.
that?
Second.
Thank you. That was moved by the chair and second by Commissioner Stephen Jackson to adopt it as amended. Please vote. Okay, and that passes 9-0.
Okay, now we can go back to the adopt the regular session minutes. Huh?
You
We
did
did
that.
You did? Okay.
We did that.
Let's move to communication committee reports.
All right. Dr. Wilson.
Ma'am, we don't have anything today, Madam.
Okay. Commissioner Jackson.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Just wanted to announce that on next week, and we will get those dates out to everybody, that the consulting firm for the law school will be in the area to do the research and talk to stakeholders on this. There's a little bit of confusion on I guess on the Board of Regents' part and the consultant, as well as, I guess, us. And we clarified that confusion yesterday on the conference call. And so we'll be getting those dates to everybody to sit in on one of those sessions. I talked to Mr. Wilbur Pryor today, who's represents our area for the Board of Regents. And what I'm hearing is a lot of people saying we don't need more lawyers, but that's why I asked Scott Martinez to stay, because this is not about more lawyers. This is as much as about economic development. When companies want to come to Shreveport, they look at our profile and they look at how many advanced degree offerings we have. And so I don't know if Scott can come, but Dr. Wilson, you could reach out to see if he could have somebody from NLEP attend to be able to give some some insight and feedback to the consultants when they come. He indicated that he did not see NLEP on the list of stakeholders, and I think that would be crucial because, again, this is not just about producing out more lawyers for our region. And some people will take that and say we're gonna have more billboards, or somebody say Gordon McCarnan University, and I get what they're saying, but I've gone to International Conference of Shopping Centers, and Scott, you knew how long it took us. I don't know, were you here for Whole Foods? You were here when we went up for Whole Foods, and okay, for the law school. Okay, well he didn't recognize your name, so it may be on there, but perfect. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry, but that's good to hear. Wilbert didn't recognize the name or the organization, but it's more than just bringing another law school. We have to keep this centered around growing higher education and growing our economy with higher education in the driver's seat as we do these things. We see economies all around the country cultivating their communities around higher education, and so I'm glad to hear that, Scott. I'll let Wilbert know that y'all are plugged into that as well. The other thing that I wanted to speak to, and I'm sure Attorney Frazier will give us some more guidance as they get closer to hearing on the injunction, but I just want to make it clear that our position has been that the parish does not own the Confederate monument. I think we've never said that it is ours. And so I would encourage us not to get bogged down on where it goes, who comes to get it, what happens to it. I think our position is simple and clear. It's not ours, it's somebody else's. When we start getting down into the minutia of where it's gonna go, then we start pretending that it's ours, which then becomes an issue of ownership. And then now we're back into more litigation over who owns what. So I don't want to see us get bogged down in any more unnecessary litigation over the issue. This issue has been litigated at the federal level. It's not our statute. For those folks who don't want us to spend additional tax resources on it or any tax resources on it, my suggestion is to come move it. We would be spending zero tax dollars on it. If they come get the statute, they've been noticed to come get it, come move it. The other thing that I will say is I heard Commissioner-elect John Paul's information. I'm not interested. If there was a statue in front of the courthouse that offended the Jews, I would be all for removing it completely. If there was a statue that offended Hispanics, I would be all for removing it completely. And so I'm not interested in making a sort of passive aggressiveness to appease folks. We have voted to remove the statue, and my position and our position has been it needs to be gone completely. And so I hope that we will continue to move on that path, Dr. Wilson. Attorney Frazier, hopefully we'll get an update before y'all go to court. I think that's the same day as we're supposed to be swearing in, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But hopefully we'll get an update before y'all go to court. With that, Madam President, that concludes my comments for now.
Thank you, Commissioner Stephen Jackson. Commissioner Doug Dominic.
Yeah, I wanted to say a few things. First of all, I appreciate all you guys that are here today, and I think my colleagues are very amenable and understand that outside the city limits, there is a different lifestyle, rural lifestyle, and I think this kind of came to a head when the citations were issued. But I will say, no one has called me. I've had one person call me. I spoke to Ms. Tullis kind of via email messages and was invited to the meeting, but had a conflict and was unable. Now, really what I think we need to have a meeting, and I think I told Ms. Tullis this, we probably need to have an organized meeting with the MPC, and I think they've even talked about doing that so that we can get the proper questions and answers and the meeting be ran in an organized fashion. Mr. Hopkins and I have talked, of course, I'm not on the commission very much longer. January 8th, is that our last date? 9th, so that will be my last day. So this was most likely, I hate to say this, but going to probably fall into Mr. Hopkins' lap as the representative for y'all's area. But I will tell you a few things. I know that I think you said, someone said something about voting on this. Why shouldn't the citizens vote on this? Well, the reason you don't vote on this is because we live in a republic. And if you remember when we pledge allegiance to the republic for which it stands. That means you elect us, you elect District 1. We make those decisions under, I guess, the state statute, the constitutional articles. And Donna and I've talked about this. There's only certain things that we can put on the ballot. Those are tax issues, to increase taxes, or something to change the charter. This even got brought up, the Confederate monument issue that Commissioner Jackson was talking about. You know, why can't we vote on that? Well, it was just, why can't we let the citizens of Caddo Parish vote on that? And we legally just can't do that. It's, you know, that's our decision. Number two, that the MPC area was created by state statute. State statute in the, I guess, the late 1950s authorized the city and the parish to create a metropolitan planning commission. It was created by state statute. So if the state wants to change that and do away with that, that would be one way to get rid of it, I'm sure. Number two, in that statute, it allows us, if I remember correctly, the commission to set the boundaries. And that was set from the city of Shreveport out 5 miles. The parish and Todd and I've talked about, maybe we want to come back, do it 3 miles. I don't know, that may be an option. Also, we immediately, when we heard about the tickets, we approached the MPC director. He had been up here even before everybody started coming down here. We had already talked, Commissioner Lyndon Johnson and I talked to him. He came here at that podium and said he realized and understood the issues and everything was kind of being put on a status quo as far as the tickets were and citations. We've already voted on that to suspend that. And we understand this is kind of a living document, a breathing document. There's going to have to be some changes. We realize that even when we started talking about this. But I think this kind of got brought up several years ago, 2017, even before then, was that the UDC, which wasn't a UDC at that point, but all those ordinances were in place, needed to be updated because they were just so far outdated from the 1950s, and that's how all this stuff got started. So I'm sorry that y'all kind of got affected, because I think if you ask anybody on this commission, or you went to my area, and I don't know who said, if y'all want to move to Vivian, I talked to the mayor of Vivian. We'll be happy to have you up there, okay? Ms. Wilson said she would be willing to let y'all come in too. We're always looking for more people, but I do understand and have consistently understood this, that our role in government, especially in the rural areas, is to let the people live. There's certain things we need to do. Your parish roads and streets, which we do, and I think is it Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir.
I also want to get a copy of those if we can. I want you to give that to Mr. Hopkins as a clerk, if you don't mind, before you leave, so we'll have those issues so he and I can look at those and see how we can address those. But understand that, the parish has certain things that we do, your parish roads and streets and those waste dump sites, that we have, okay? And we're just fixing to open up another one up there in Blanchard on Highway 1 here in a few days. It's open, but we're gonna have the dedication. Caddo Parish Animal Mosquito Control, which we do for the entire parish. And of course, the thing that I guess people don't really realize is the buildings that we own. We own, part of this building, but the Caddo Correctional Center, the Caddo Parish Courthouse. There are a lot of buildings and things that we own, and the juvenile justice system, which is really, we're not even going to go to talk about that today because, right.
We are happy with the parish. We're just not. We just see.
You can't. I'm sorry. You can't talk right now. So rules. But I do understand. But I'm just trying to give you understanding. Anyway, I want to work with y'all, and I know Mr. Hopkins wants to work with y'all, and I think this entire body does. I think that's pretty much all I have, but we understand and we thank y'all for being here today, and hopefully, of course, again, I'm probably not going to be here when we have these meetings in the area to try to address some of those issues. So we do need to work together and not get it too controversial, because we understand we don't need y'all getting tickets But we also, at the same time, we don't need some big pig farm or some type of company to sexually oriented business or something, or a liquor store to locate right next to you. You'd probably be up here jumping up and down about it. But if you didn't have those, that's what could happen also. So I just hope my colleagues, especially, I think Mr. Young, if he's still there, if y'all still here, when y'all are here in January, heard all this stuff, so I know y'all gonna have to work on that. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Doug Dominic.
I'm
Commissioner
sorry,
Lyndon B.
I beat
Johnson.
Mr. Jackson today, spoke longer than him. I think that's the first time.
Officially
Breaking
now.
records before you leave.
Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. I won't speak that long. Doug covered a lot of it. But a lot of the information, I did talk to the citizens when I went to the meeting, and I told them that we are basically trying to make changes because we hear your concerns, your issues. And the good thing is that we do have a executive director that is willing to hear what we got to say, and once we put it on paper, then it goes to the NPC, and then now it can be changed. One thing I also told you, like what Doug just said, is that I understand that some of you don't want any kind of zoning out there, but you need to have some because you want to protect your property from whatever could move next door to you. He talks about some businesses, but you also got to look at it. It could be a commercial business, it could be an industrial business, it could be a trailer park. And if you got all nice houses in one area and then somebody can slide a trailer right in between that, you're not going to like that. So we got to find a happy medium between what the city expects to have inside the city limits and then what we expect to have in that 5-mile buffer area. And so that's the part we're going to have to continue to work on. I was one of the commissioners that was basically saying this UDC is not ready. And, basically saying it wasn't ready. I think there's about 190-some amendments to it already.
That's right.
So that means it's a work in progress. It should have been tabled a little longer to get some of these things worked out, but it wasn't. And so now we're having to make these changes on the fly because we're hearing these concerns. There's some more that's out there. You mentioned quite a few today.
Yeah.
But there are some more. I think we have about 60 or 90 that still has to come to us. There are some changes that we're changing those changes. So it's a process, and basically what we're trying to do is do it as quickly as possible, but yet not affect you on your day-to-day living. And just give us a little time, because some of those things, like I said, don't make any sense at all. Because if you got an RV and it's on the side of the house, but I can see it from the road, you're in violation. But if you put a screen up, you're not in violation. So it really doesn't make a difference. So just bear with us a little while longer. We're working. We heard the issues, the concerns. I was there. I've been talking to my colleagues about some of the things that we need to change. So just bear with us a little while. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson. Commissioner John Atkins.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be brief. I agree with what my colleagues have said, what Commissioner Dominic and Commissioner Johnson have said. This is a iterative process. There's a little bit of back and forth. I think we're not there yet. And I encourage Mr. Clark to work with us and you all to find the happy medium. That's easier said than done, but we will work with you all to try to find that happy medium. I, of course, represent the southern part of the parish, and some of the people outside of the city on the south have the same concerns. So we share many of the same issues, and we'll try to work towards a solution. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Commissioner John Atkins. See no other commissioners in the queue?
Administration response?
You have none.
I have none, okay. Next we move to public hearing on ordinances.
I have a question for administration.
Your skilled president's report. But you got a question for
Yes.
administration?
Attorney Frazier, when are you still preparing the information about walking quorum, the walking quorum
Yes, you'll
information?
have that tomorrow.
Thank you. That's it.
What? A
Walking quorum.
You tell me
Mr.
about that
Clark?
later on.
President's report?
President's report. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll try to be as brief as I can. Juvenile Justice Committee had a meeting on today We did not have a quorum, but we had a very informative discussion with several of the community leaders, BYJ, as well as the staff and administration from Juvenile Detention Center. We will need to reconvene with a full quorum so that we can make some imperative decisions within the next week. So if you are on JDC, I need to meet with you to see what is the best date to meet within the next 7 days. We discussed transforming juvenile probation and addressing racial disparities in our juvenile justice system. Attorney Frazier.
Yes.
I sent an email back to Cheryl about some of the applicants that were rejected.
Yes.
One of them definitely that was on that list was rejected because of their education.
Commissioner, we can't discuss their qualifications and personnel issues in a public meeting. I can talk with you about that. I believe Ms. Bryant may have also talked to you about that.
Yes.
So.
Okay. So, commissioners, I think that we may have to have an additional call meeting before we have our actual clerk applications reviewed and interviewed, because I think it may be some missing links on there. So stay tuned to that. I would also like to say to the Employee Council, great job this morning on the Toys for Tots presentation. We really appreciate you and the excellence that you represent in our community. It was a great event. Thank you for inviting me and allowing me to be a part of it. On Wednesday, December 11th, Sustaining Hope will have a breakfast at First Presbyterian Church from 8:30 to 9:30. And on this Sunday, December 8th, Sunday, Sisters Sharing a Season will be having their event that is centered around dealing with depression during this holiday season at 5971 Financial Plaza from 2 to 6 p.m. And that will conclude my report at this time. I'll save my salutations for January meeting. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to you all. Mr. Clerk.
Now we move to public hearings. Ordinance number 5937, 2019, amending the budget investment revenues expenditures for the capital outlay fund in the amount of $175,000, providing appropriation to add a traffic light to Southern Loop.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of ordinance number 5937? Is there anyone here to speak against it? Okay, I declare this public hearing on ordinance number 5937 closed.
We move to ordinance number 5938, close and abandon road dedication located in Black Bayou Lake subdivision unit number 2 in the parish of Caddo.
Okay, is there anyone here to speak in favor of ordinance number 5938? Is there anyone here to speak against it? I declare this public hearing on ordinance number 5938 closed.
That closes our public hearings. We move to ordinances for final passage. Ordinance number 5937, 2019, amending the budget investment revenues and expenditures for the capital outlay fund in the amount of $175,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
It was moved by Commissioner John Atkins and second by Commissioner Mike Middleton. Commissioner Atkins, would you like to speak on your motion?
Thank you, Madam President. We spoke a good bit about this earlier in the week, but I will just remind everybody that there actually previously existed a $300,000 expenditure in our budget for a roundabout in that area. We were going to work with the city and the state to get that built. That didn't work out, so we're now looking at a traffic light, which the good news is that has a much smaller budget, and so we're looking to allocate this 175, which would include 150,000, 125,000 in capital cost and some 50,000 to help with some future maintenance costs. You know, this is a high growth area for our parish. It's probably one of the highest growing areas of our parish, and unfortunately with growth comes a need for additional infrastructure, and with the need for additional infrastructure comes cost. So I think it's a legitimate and appropriate need. And lastly, and most importantly, is safety. Just this morning, as I was trying to exit Wallace Lake Road onto Southern Loop, I saw an accident nearly occur. It's really a scary place to get onto 220, get onto Southern Loop during a busy time. So I hope you all colleagues will support our efforts here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner John Atkins. Commissioner Stephen Jackson.
Yes, I'm 1,000% in support of this, Dr. Wilson.
Yes, sir.
If we will be as amenable and acceptable, Commissioner Atkins, once we, hopefully, prayerfully, when we get to this discussion about the light at MLK in North Market. Saw 2 accidents this week and 1 on Thanksgiving Day. So public safety is a high priority on both ends of the parish, and I'm excited to see the growth on the north and the south end of the parish. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Commissioner Stephen Jackson. Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to know how much the city is going to chip in on this.
125,000.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
That's it?
I also like that point there too, since we abut District 2 and 3 at the same light. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay. And I just think it's advantageous that I say the same thing for the west part of Shreveport. There's been a light, I've been talking about it, the corner of Buncombe and Pines Road as well. So I am in full support of this appropriation as well. So we see a lot of accidents there as well at Woolworth and Buncombe Road. And those kids get out of school. That's an issue that needs to be addressed.
And a turn lane.
Yes, please. Thank you. Commissioner Mike Middleton.
Just leaves the east side of Shreveport unguarded. Right? But anyhow, Red River's got that covered. No, I support LB and Stephen's things. I think the state falls behind on doing the assessment on these, and I think they're right. So again, safety and efficiency out there in John's district too. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mike Middleton. I see no other discussion. Please vote. And that passes 8-1. Commissioner Dominic?
Oh, I'm in the vote now.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I will,
Now, we done voted.
no,
Don't talk about it no more.
put a sign. Do I need to put a sign down there? You know, Doug Dominic been injured?
No.
Didn't see me?
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Big Gordon McCartney?
Ordinance number 5937 of 2019, amending the budget of estimate revenue.
We just-
Sorry,
You did that
I
one.
just read that one.
What was in the cake?
No, it's the punch.
Tom's already getting into the next mode. The next year.
It's the punch.
Closing abandoned road dedications located in Black Bayou Lake subdivision, unit number 2.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that was moved by Commissioner Doug Dominic and second by Commissioner Mike Middleton. Commissioner Doug Dominic, would you like to speak on your motion?
Brief? No.
Okay. I see no discussion. Please vote. And that passes 9-0.
President Gage Watts, you cannot change an old dog.
It's worth trying.
You got that over.
Ordinance is for introduction by title. Ordinance number 5939 of 2019 to amend volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended. The Caddo Parish Unified Development Code by amending section 2.3, definition of general terms by amending section 5.3, use of definitions by amending section 6.1, principal use standards by amending section 7.3, accessory structures and uses by amending article 8, off-street parking and lodging, loading by amending article 9, sign regulations by amending article 16, zoning application approval processes. Ordinance number 5940 of 2019 to authorize the parish administrator to execute determination of a right of first refusal of Lot 1, North Shreveport Industrial Park, Unit Number 2, being a re-subdivision of lots 9 and 10, North Shreveport Industrial Park, Unit Number 1. Next, we do not have the work session minutes completed, so we'll bring those back in January. We move to resolutions. Resolution number 95 of 2019 to authorize the Caddo Parish Administrator to request authorize.
Move to adopt.
Second.
That was moved by Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson and second by Commissioner Mike Middleton. Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson, would you like to speak on your motion? Okay. Please vote.
I'd like to-
Commissioner Mike Middleton, I didn't see
I'd
that.
like to englobo also number 96 for the calendar. And we've already done number 97. I'd like to adopt number 98 also.
And number 99?
First 99.
The one that I added.
Oh, yeah, number 99, for sure.
Okay, a second by the chair.
What was 99?
The one that was added by Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson as an addendum.
out to me.
First refusal on the property up there.
It mimics the ordinance number
5940.
5940. It makes it a resolution so that it shows good faith to the attorneys and the real estate company that's trying to sell the property, that we will refuse first right.
Sign of good faith.
Commissioner Mike Middleton, you on the board?
Already finished.
Okay, Commissioner Stephen Jackson.
I'd like to make a motion to amend resolution number 96 to move our, to make our work session to be 3:30 and our regular session to be starting at 4:30.
Second.
It was moved by Commissioner Stephen Jackson and second by Commissioner Matthew Lynn. Commissioner Jackson, would you like to speak on your motion?
Yeah, I think we discussed this on Monday a little bit, and so, you know, second bite at the apple here. I'm all for the Englobo, just wanted to leave nothing off the table. I think as I drove in, I heard a couple of the people who came up to speak that unfortunately they had to take off work to be down here with us today. And then there were some who wanted to be here and could not be here. And so this is an opportunity. And I think, you know, somebody indicated that we tend to be hiding things to show that we're not hiding anything. We're open, we're accessible, and we want people to be able to be here without having to make that sacrifice. I have employees who work for me, and sometimes they may be on their last occurrence, and they may not be able to take off. And so this is an opportunity for us to kind of level the playing field. And Commissioner Lynn pointed out some great points, aspects about public service on Monday as well that I thought was very important as well. So hopefully we'll consider that amendment. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson.
Substitute motion to englobo resolution 95, 97, 98, and 99.
Second.
95, what is it?
97, 90.
Oh, y'all doing
No,
97.
let's see, 95, 97, 98, and 99.
So
You all
take out.
already voted on 97.
We voted on 97 already.
Oh, hell. Okay, so
98.
95, 96, 98.
He's already made.
And
No,
99.
No, take 96 off. I don't want
That's
96. 98, and 99. So 99, 98, and 95.
Second.
Okay,
Since we got discussion on 96.
okay. And that was second by Commissioner Mike Middleton?
Sure.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson, you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Doug Dominic.
Yeah, which ones are we voting on now? I'm confused.
99, 98.
99, you're one, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
98.
okay,
We already did 97.
okay.
Skipping 96 and 95 since we got discussion.
Okay,
on this.
so we'll just come back, we'll vote on this and then come back to the discussion that
96. Yeah.
Stephen's having, correct?
Right.
I'll save my discussion, I just want to talk about his substitute motion, but,
Well, that's why I was taking it out. So
Okay.
we can talk about it.
yeah, let's go.
Attorney Frazier.
That was what I was going to address, that the one with the discussion needs to be taken out of the Englobo. And
Okay.
it was.
See no other discussion, please vote. That passes 9-0.
Now we move back to the motion from Mr. Jackson and seconded by Mr. Lynn. to-
Okay. Commissioner Dominic.
So we still have the motion, we have a motion to adopt
To make the,
96.
to make the change, to adopt 96 with the
Okay.
changes of 3:30 and 4:30.
All right, so, you know, we talked about this Monday, and with all due respect, I'll say the same thing that I said the other day. We have I think we got at least 3 new commissioners here on board. We currently meet at 3:30. We've been meeting at 3:30. I'm fine with 3:30. Of course, I'm not gonna be here in January, so if y'all wanna change the time, that's completely fine with me. It may be better, because if y'all meet at 4, I might be able to come down here and say hello a little bit more. But, I think that before we do this, I think this is something that this new commission body needs to get on board and decide whether they want to do that. I hate to make a motion to set time when these guys had recently ran for election knowing that they were at 3:30. If you guys want to get together, come January and change it to 3:30, 4, whatever you want to, that's fine with me. But right now, I say we need to vote on the motion as it is written.
Thank you, Commissioner Doug Dominic. Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. I think today shows witness that if someone wants to come down and talk up to the commission, that they will. If we change it to 4 o'clock, I mean, work schedules now are not just typical 8 to 5 or 7 to 4. People are working all types of shifts. So if we say 4 o'clock, some people don't get out to 5 o'clock. So you're still not helping them out any. So the issue is 3:30. City council meets at 3:30, school board meets at 3. So if someone wants to come down and have an issue, they'll be here. If they can't get here, they'll send word, or they'll send a text, they send an email, whatever concern that they might have, they gonna make sure that we know about it. If there was no issue on here, if there was no NPC, UDC issue, there wouldn't be nobody out there, because everybody would say, well, y'all doing a pretty good job, I'm good with it. But they have something, a concern, they came down and voiced their opinion. And that's how this works. I mean, I would love to have a chamber full every meeting so people see how we vote a lot of times. But that just doesn't happen. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson. Commissioner Mike Middleton.
Thank you. I agree with what both my colleagues on my left say, and even though I'm right-leaning as far as that goes. We'll say that this too, that only 62% of the time or 61% of the time, what we up here as a body, what we do is in agreement totally with the population that we serve within our district. That's just been proven by study. So I just want to say I'll be voting no on the substitute. I'll be voting for the calendar to be as it is already here on today's agenda. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mike
My
Middleton.
last vote to be here.
Commissioner Matthew Lynn.
Motion to postpone this vote until the first regular session of the new body.
Second.
I think we cannot do that. I think we have to.
Legally, you have to issue the calendar.
We have to set our
this morning.
calendar.
Yes.
So that motion is null and void? Okay. Would you like to withdraw your motion, Mr. Stephen Jackson?
Mr.
Who
Lynn
made
made
them?
it.
I'm sorry, Matthew Lynn.
Well, if we have to do it, and so you're saying by law it has to be done, right? Well, then,
Yes.
Well, then there's no point.
Okay.
Never mind.
Let the record reflect, Mr. Matthew Lynn withdrew his motion. Okay. Is
And we're
that
voting
it,
on
Commissioner
Mr.
Lynn?
Jackson's motion, substitute motion first.
No, we still have some other commissioners on board. Commissioner Dominic, you were back on the board?
No, I was gonna say that it was, we had to vote, so
Okay.
it's been taken care of, so.
Commissioner Stephen Jackson.
I just want to let the record reflect, and I'm just responding to comments that I've heard today, is that people had to take off, come down here, and others are not as privileged or beneficial, doesn't have the benefit to be able to take off, and I think that speaks to a lot of people in our community. So, so I'll continue to make my motion, and hopefully, it will succeed one of these days.
That's
wear us
right.
down.
Don't give
You
up.
can wear that new
Keep
commission
hope
down.
alive. And I agree, they're gonna always, I wish that there was a way that we could reach everyone, but this is a 24-hour city, and we would not be able to accommodate each and every citizen who would like to attend the meetings. But I do agree that what has been said, if they need to get here, just like these group of people who came down today to express their concerns, they will take off a few minutes early.
People don't read newspapers.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, if you really want to make sure people come down, we can have meetings on Saturdays, we can have meetings on Sundays. That would accommodate most people because they're off on weekends.
I can make that
in this city.
motion.
So I'm just telling you, by going from 3:30 to 4 o'clock, it's not going to accommodate too many people. But on a Saturday and a Sunday, you will accommodate more people. And do you really want to do that?
I'm done. Commissioner Middleton, you haven't spoken.
Yes, call for the question.
Second.
Right, question has been called. I believe that passes by acclamation.
My last time with the meet on the same.
Okay, please vote on calling for the question.
Help me with that. I have some clarity on how this vote goes.
Now, we're calling for the question at this
Okay,
moment.
thank you.
Question has been called 10-0. Now, at this time, we're voting on Commissioner Jackson's substitute motion to change the time.
To change the time, to leave the time at 3:30 on work session, change it to 4:30 on regular sessions.
Okay. Okay, and that fails.
So now we'll need to vote on the original motion
Okay.
by Mr. Lyndon Johnson, second by Mr. Middleton.
Tim Machine, that will vote.
Mr. Smith?
And that passes 10-0.
Next, we move to new business. Confirm additional holidays for Caddo Parish employees.
Moved by the chair,
Second.
second by Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson. Please vote. See no discussion. It's good. Okay, that passes 9-1.
Next, we confirm commission clerk selection process and date and procedures.
So moved for adoption.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Stephen Jackson, second by Commissioner Dylan Dominic. Commissioner Jackson.
No, I'm good.
Okay, please vote.
Yeah.
Done.
And that passes 9-1.
On that, that should say commission, instead of one commission.
Apostrophe is.
Commission.
Okay.
Okay.
Where at?
Next item.
Next, we move to confirm the end of year appointments.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Mike Middleton, that was second by Commissioner Lynn Carthorne.
Correct.
Commissioner Middleton.
All good people on there.
Okay. Commissioner Jackson.
I was gonna make a motion to swap out Mr. Lemar Flukers with Mr. Marvin Muhammad
On which one is
for
that?
the Industrial Development Board.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Jackson, would you like to speak on your motion? That was motion by Commissioner Stephen Jackson and second by Commissioner Matthew Lynn.
Yeah, no, I spoke to him and I don't think he has an issue. He has a lot of things going on, so he doesn't have an issue with being changed out. That's my.
So you're saying he wished to be removed from
He
the
doesn't
board?
have any issue with it. If we had somebody else he's okay with somebody else if somebody else wants to serve.
That's it, Commissioner Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner John Atkins.
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Jackson, I was just curious if you talked to the commission, to the industrial board president or any of the leadership over there about a new member. I know it's not their right, but.
No, I didn't. I just have conversations with Mr. Flukers, and his thing was if somebody else wants to serve, he has no problem. He's now a dad, and so he has. Plus, he's very entrepreneurial, and so he has some other endeavors going on, and so his hands are kind of tied. So he has no bones about it at all. So his thing was he's not going to resign, but if somebody else wanted to serve, he was okay with that.
That's it, Commissioner Atkins?
Yes, thank you, Madam
Okay.
President.
Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson.
I think in the past, on the industrial board, we have required a resume that we look at before we add somebody to it. I know typically on the sewer districts and water boards, we kind of go by whatever the commission in that area, but on the industrial board, we typically have had resume before we vote on a particular person. So I would say that we would, if somebody else get on the board, that we could actually pull this out and then do it the first meeting in January or if we have a special meeting, it can be added on then, but we'll be able to see Mr. Muhammad's resume before adding on to the board. That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Lynn Carthorne.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just as a point of clarification, wouldn't we have to have, and I'm fine with swapping out, but wouldn't we have to have an official resignation letter from Mr. Flukas?
His term has expired.
Okay, that's fine. My question has to do.
Okay. That's it, Commissioner Carthorne?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Commissioner Mike Middleton.
I'd like to amend my motion to leave it as it is right now, and what Mr. L.B. Johnson just said to, let's get us some resume on whoever else wants to be in there. You can go ahead and remove Mr. Fluker's.
Mr. Clerk.
Point of information, you just want to postpone Mr. Fluker's at this point.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Put in so much
That was second by
To
Commissioner
postpone the
Lyndon B.
reappointment
Johnson.
of Mr. Flukers.
Yeah. Second by Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson. Commissioner Stephen Jackson?
Yeah,
second time
we've
around?
never asked for a resume for anybody.
Yes,
We've
we
asked for
have. Yes, we have.
resumes for
Yes, we have.
No, people for the MPC have done resumes. We have never had a resume for the Industrial Development Board because what we did was we replaced Kyle McInnes with
We
one
had
of
a
the other
resume on
members.
Kyle.
But that was just a preference. That was nothing mandatory that we require. So I'm trying to figure out what's with the all of a sudden requirement now. Is that if that's going to be what I'm saying is if that's going to be a requirement, it needs to be a requirement, not a pick and choose. They just chose to turn in resumes.
That's it, Commissioner Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson, second time around?
Thank you, Madam President. I've been here 9 years, and every time we put somebody on industrial board, there has always been a resume attached to it. 9 years. So if we can beat that, fine. But other than that, every time we had somebody for this board, there's been a resume.
Commissioner John Atkins.
Thank you, Madam President. And while I was the chair of the Economic Development Committee, we had some turnover on the Industrial Development Board, and at that time, we submitted resumes for consideration. I don't have the history that Commissioner Johnson has, but I know that in my short tenure, we have reviewed resumes. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I see no discussion. Mr. Clerk, Commissioner Jackson?
I tell you what, I'll just, to keep the peace, I'll remove mine and just keep it as is. And we can just come back.
Well, I think Mr. Middleton's is to postpone and come back in the first of.
Well, I'm asking, let's just move it on through.
That's fine.
I wasn't expecting all that.
Sorry.
Commissioner Mike Middleton?
Well, I agree with everyone else, what they've said. We've always had, in my short tenure, as John said, we've always had people doing the resumes, so let's just go ahead and keep consistent.
So have
For
you
the
seen
next
Lemon
group.
Fluker's resume?
So you
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
remove your motion?
Yeah.
That's it, okay? So now, at this time, we're voting on
The original motion.
the original motion to confirm the end of the year appointments as it reads.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Please vote. Okay, and that passes 10-0.
Next, we move to communiques and committee reports.
See none? Sorry. Commissioner Lewis Johnson is on the board.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to take this opportunity to address the overall body at this point between now and the following meeting, if I could take just a minute to do so.
Absolutely.
First of all, I would like to start by thanking God for both His selection and His protection while giving me this opportunity to serve on this board. It's truly been a blessing for me, and I'm very thankful for that. Secondly, I'd like to address and give my appreciation to the citizens of District 12, and that it's been my honor to serve them, and I've tried to do so with respect and integrity. I'd like to address everyone that I've had the blessing of working with during this time, starting with the administration. I learned a lot in this position, and one of the things that I've learned is I've increased my understanding and my respect for the parish and for their commitment to the betterment of this, to the citizens in this community. Dr. Wilson and the entire parish administration are excellent in your goals, in the way that you work, and the things that you do. It's been an honor to work with you, and I have great respect for you in that regard. Also, I want to identify my fellow commissioners. Each of you have worked with me, have helped me, and I've earned great relationships with each of you, most of whom I've had an opportunity to address. But I want to say thank you for your assistance and the opportunity to work with each of you. And lastly, congratulations and good luck to the upcoming commissioners as you come forward. Good luck to each of you, and my best wishes to the parish overall. So in case I'm not at the next meeting, I want to take this opportunity to just express my appreciation and to express what a great honor it has been for me to serve. And I look forward to supporting the parish in the future in any way that I can. So thank you for this opportunity to each of you, and Merry Christmas to each of you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam
Lewis
President.
Madam President, may I have a couple words, please?
Yes, sir.
It is time. I'm in my last regular session. 30 years, not in this job, but 30 years at Parish. I've enjoyed the last 10 working with this group. I'm looking forward to retirement, and I'm looking forward to moving on the other side and dealing some misery. No, I'm really looking forward to what's to come. But it's been a learning experience, and I don't know, it feels like a weight of bricks have just fallen off my shoulders, knowing we're going to adjourn in a few minutes, and it was my last regular session.
All right, Todd.
But thank y'all.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. And
Thanks,
just
Todd.
know that the
Good
bricks
job.
are coming. If they're coming off now, you're gonna get some heavier bricks in a few more weeks. I just want to say thank you to Ms. Young for my beautiful Christmas gift back here. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Next, we have citizen comments. We have one person, Mr. John Settle.
Okay.
He and in his, you're not in your elf uniform today?
Not today, that's right. John Settle for Tealwood. I want to commend y'all on requiring resumes for the Industrial Development Board. I think it's, as a private citizen, to swap out a name on a keyboard without a chance to comment on them, I would have felt like you'd have taken away a right to express my thing. And so if you had passed that and I knew another person had been put on that board without me having a chance to comment on whether or not I thought that was a good person or if there were other good persons, it's really taken away, I think, an important right for citizens. So I think it's good to require a resume, and I think on some of these appointments, if they're a parish-wide entity like the Shreveport Memorial Library, the Industrial Development Board, if there's going to be a change, then you need to delay that so citizens can have input. So I commend you on the decision you made to keep this here, and if there's going to be a change on a keyboard that affects the whole parish, to open it up, let people do it, submit resumes, let citizens comment on that before they do it. That's all I want. So I think you did a good course of action on that, and if somebody resigns, I hope that you'll accept the resume process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Settle.
Can I move to adjourn?
Meeting adjourned.
Well,